Hey guys, Marshall from Limited Resources. It's draft time, and as you can see, we've got Cube. Yay, Cube's back! So we get to dive into the wonderful, crazy world of Cube and see what we come out with. I'm going to be taking Consecrated Sphinx out of this pack. I just think it's one of the most powerful spells you can get going in the Cube, and it can do some of the most broken things possible. Basically just drawing infinite cards. Remember, when you're cubing, your overall power level of each card is significantly higher than it is in regular draft, so every card that you draw extra is even better than it would be in a regular draft. There's a bunch of other reasonable cards in this pack that you could look at. I like Remand quite a bit. I mean, Undermine's fine. Bob's a little sketchy. Bob can go from being pretty sweet in this cube to being deadly, so you got to be careful, but I'm just going to slam the 6-drop. And also, this doesn't really tell us where we're going yet. I don't really know. We could go a bunch of different directions from Consecrated Sphinx. So let's see what we've opened next here. Some reasonable choices. There's some Planeswalkers, a trio of them here. Koth Daddy. Card's good against control. It's not very good against aggro. It's just decent against them. I mean, it's still a Planeswalker. Elspeth Tirel is kind of unexciting, but it can be a win condition, and it certainly threatens to go ultimate very quickly. Plus it and then minus it, and you get to keep your tokens if you have any. And Garruk Primal Hunter, which is really a pretty excellent Planeswalker, but very demanding on the mana scale. I actually said trio. There's a quad here of them, as there's also Liliana Vess, which is a card I like quite a bit. It's not as good as Liliana the Veil by a long shot, but it's actually pretty good. I think I'm going to take Liliana Vess here. If we're lucky, we'll wheel this Underground Sea. What have we? Well, there's an Entomb, which is a part of a combo, though I don't really want to take it here. There's a Siegegate Commander, which is really a pretty sweet 5-drop. I mean, it's nothing really special. It's just like a value card, but it's good. Is It Charm, Stagger Shock are both totally playable. Goblin Guide's nice and aggressive, but doesn't really go well with this. And then there's a bunch of sweet lands. I'm starting to lean towards going Grixis at this point. And if we do go Grixis, then I want to take the Stagger Shock or the Is It Charm, I think. Stagger Shock is a pretty reliable 2-for-1. Is It Charm is extremely versatile and can do a lot of great things. Also, we'd really like to just pick up this Badlands. And I'm going to go for the Stagger Shock. I'm going to take the 2-for-1 here and see where it leads us. Well, there's a Progenitus, which you really do need to kind of cheat into play. We don't really have a way to do that at the moment. Aether Vial's not good in a deck like this. It's okay. No bother, sir. Ghoul-Dras Assassin over here is a card that I don't know why it's still in the cube. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad card, but like there's just, I don't know. I don't think it's very good. And it just kind of keeps hanging around. Maybe they just want to have a leveler in here or something. I'm not really sure. So the cards that I'm looking at are Volcanic Island and Into the Royal. I like both of those cards a lot. But I'm going to take Volcanic Island here. Slime Buckets. Of course you can have a clan invite. Oh, never mind. You're already in another clan. I'll have to work on that in a little bit. Fire Spout's decent too, especially if we end up branching another color. And I love Into the Royal, but it's not quite on the level of Volcanic Island, which is something that you kind of need. Encampment Disc is pretty good. Can sweep away all the annoying things and leave like our Planeswalkers behind. I really like Wildfire. It's a cool one. I don't know if this is going to be a Wildfire deck yet, but it could be. Tradewind Rider is awesome. It's so cool, but it's just hard to find a spot for it. I mean, the deck that we're going to be drafting here will likely not have that many creatures in it. So I think I'm actually just going to take a Spellskite over the Disc here. I like Disc. It's fine, but we should have answers to most things that we really care about here. Okay, there's a Bloodstained Mire or a Mars Flats. We'd take the Mire just because it'll be a little more versatile, in our deck. Other cards, yeah, these two guys are fine. Shadow Mage Infiltrator is pretty good. They got to remove it. Usually you can get in and start drawing you cards if they don't. And it's a pretty big threat for 3 mana. Same thing goes for this that I said earlier about drawing cards. I mean, if you start drawing extra cards from it. And this guy too. he replaces himself. The downside to Rager is that he just leaves a 2/2 behind, which is mediocre. Kargan Dragonlord I like a ton, but it's pretty rough in a 3-color deck, so I'm going to take the Bloodstained Mire and make sure we have our mana all set up. Sweet. Ooh, there's some other good stuff in this pack too. Man, Sylvan Library is awesome. Even a Blightning I'd probably play, but I'm going to take Damnation. I like to have the one sweeper, and when you're in Grixis, there's a lot of sweepers in white, but in black there's fewer, and getting the Damnation out of the way now is very nice. None of these are really what we want. Spreading Seas can do some work, and Graveborn Muse can as well. I'm going to take the Graveborn Muse. It's kind of a pet card. I just kind of like it. All right, so there's a lot of options for us here. Unfortunately, Bob is not one of them. I mean, once you start even getting into this territory, like, he just becomes too dangerous, and if our opponent is even remotely aggressive, he'll just kill us. Stuper's okay, but not what we really want. I want Essence Scatter, Narcolepsy, Alchemy, or Skeletal Scrying. As you can see, you can bonk cards out of your graveyard to lose X life and draw X cards. So I think I want one of these two, a Scatter or an Alchemy. I'll go for an Alchemy here. That's a close one. Okay, so there's a Red Elemental Blast, a Pillage, and a Koth. We should probably just take the Koth here, though he's not great in our deck. Red Elemental Blast is quite good, though. Pillage is fine. I even like Ruin Blaster, but it's kind of hard to pass a Planeswalker at this point. I don't think I'm going to. Well, we did get very lucky. In fact, we're just getting very lucky here, as we've got multiple cards back that we really wanted. I really do like Izzet Charm. I'm actually tempted to take it over the Badlands here, even though Badlands is really the ideal land. It'll give us Grixis fully. Yeah, I'm going to take Izzet Charm anyway, though. It feels like the fixing's going to be there for us. Gamble, search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, discard a card at random. Looks a little sketchy, but I don't think we're doing much else. I think we're going to have ways to kill this guy, so I'm just going to take the gamble here. I'm going to hide it for now. We might want it. Oh, the Wildfire came back. Okay. And both of the cards, wow, we're definitely in the right colors here. Yeah, we'll take the Dragon Lord. Maybe we'll actually, geez, sweet. All that stuff I mentioned all those cards when I was passing when I passed them, and they all came back. So it looks like we're positioned really nicely here, and we just have to hope to keep getting some really sweet stuff. All right, Martial Coup, there's a Mazavith, that's a pretty good one. Port's just okay. Rift Bolt's just okay. I'm going to kind of stay away from these. I've found that the bounce lands are kind of, well, look, I mean, there's a port right here and there's a wasteland here, and that kind of explains that one, I think. Voidmaid Prodigy I don't like, but I like Shriekmaw a lot. I like it better than Vampire Nighthawk. I like it better than Curse Squirrel. I like it better than Mazavith, I think. Yeah, I'm going to take Shriekmaw here. I think Shriekmaw is just amazing. Ugh, there's a Vortex. We don't want to see that on the other side. Okay, so we've got a lot of options here again. There's a Bloodgift Demon, which I think is actually underrated. This guy's a house, man. He just keeps drawing you cards, and if you're going to die or they're going to die, you can make them draw cards. Looter Ilkor I like a lot, but this is a little early for a card like that. Miscalc is sweet. I'm probably just going to take Miscalc. I like Burst Lightning too, though, to keep the small creatures off your back early. I think it's between Bloodgift Demon and Miscalculation for me, and I'm just going to take Miscalculation. I don't really like Top that much. Well, even though, oh wow, this is brutal now. This is very brutal. We're very likely to get something back that we want, I think. Well, maybe not very likely, but pretty likely, because we want Necropolis, Smother, Nightscape Familiar, and Graven Cairns. So this is actually really rough, because I really want this guy. He doesn't look like much, but he actually does a ton. In a deck like this, allows you to just pump out ridiculous stuff. But I don't think that anybody else wants him. I don't think that this guy's going to get taken. So I'm going to gamble that he wheels, and I'm going to decide between these cards up here. I really love Riftwing Cloudskate. It's one of those tempo plays that gets you right back in a game that you're kind of a little behind on. But it is hard to pass a full tricolor land and one of the better, keep you alive cards. Yeah, I'll do it. Hopefully we'll get something back out of that pack. I'm pretty sure we will. Our mana's looking decent anyway. We've already got 2 fixers, and we'll be able to pick some more up as well. Exalted Angel's awesome, but Fortunately, we're not going to be able to do that. I mean, I guess I could just go 5 colors if I wanted, or at least 4 colors and just not green. But double white's kind of scary, especially when there's, a Mole Drifter in the pack already. Mind Stone's fine too, but I'm going to take Mole Drifter because Mole Drifter is awesome. Okay, more good stuff here. There's a Polluted Delta, so more fixing if we want it. And there's also a Sakashima's Student, which I love. This card's sweet. Basically, it's just clone. But you can also get it back. So do I want to clone? Or do I want a Polluted Delta? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to start making sure that I get this mana going, because you got to be really careful with that. Our mana is going to be really rough. Usually these type of decks have, I mean, like we want to run cards like this and this and this, and it can get kind of nasty. What does Death Cloud do again? Each player loses X life. Okay, that's pretty good. Discards X cards, sacrifices X creatures, and sacks. Oh, that's pretty insane. Although we don't really have the ramp to support that kind of thing, and I think it would kind of kill us too. Gatekeeper on turn 3 is really nice. Serum Visions is like solid. Black Sun Zenith is solid, and Flame Javelin they're all solid. I'll go for Gatekeeper. Searing Blaze, probably not as awesome in our deck. I think I want to take Sphere of the Suns or Steam Vents here. Lotus Bloom can be really good too. I mean, it can just do some broken stuff, but it also can just suck. I'm going to take Steam Vents and just make sure our mana is like really good. I just want to make sure I have enough ways to interact with my opponent. Usually what I find is that these decks, winning becomes like whatever, like you just figure out a way to win after it's all said and done. It doesn't end up being very difficult to find a way. Like you just beat down with one of these or whatever. The key though is to be able to interact with different strategies that your opponent's going to put forth. So that usually means these type of spells, like this and this, and then some type of miscalculations. Is it charms? You know, things that mess with their hand or counter them. Drown Catacomb is probably the pick here. Prophetic Bolt is really sweet too, but I've already got 4 or 5 drops, and I'm probably running all of them. Prophetic Bolt is kind of amazing though. Night Veil Spectre seems cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna cop out and take that. I'll take the Mazavith here. Yeah, that seems good. Mazavith can deal with a lot of creatures that you can't normally deal with, so that's really good. Ancient Grudge with no flashback, or we can just like take a Sulfuric Vortex, or I could even just take Yavimaios and just kind of drift over into 5 colors. I don't really need to be 5 colors, but Vortex is kind of a huge issue for our deck, though, as we won't really have any way to kill it being in Grixis, so I'll take it. Alright, well, we did get something back that we wanted, but somebody did take our guy, which is really annoying, but yeah, it is what it is. So do we want Graven Cairns or Crumbling Necropolis? It's actually an interesting decision because we've got double red quite a bit, but I think I'm still just going to take the Necropolis here. Yeah, sure. It's a really late Bayou, but Cadets we definitely don't want. Birthing Pod we're not going to have enough creatures for, but we'll take Tainted Pact. I don't know if we're going to run it or not. This one, what's the black kicker for? Target player discards 2 cards? Yeah, sure. Wow, that's kind of cool. That land went that late. It looks like we can kind of do whatever we want here. We need some more powerful stuff, though. We're close, but we do need some bombs. I'd love to have like a Grave Titan or you know, another big planeswalker like a Jace or something to really put a lot of heat down. Right now we're doing a pretty good job of staying alive. Well, there's a Grizzlebrand. That'll keep you alive. Chandra is fine, but I don't think she's really what we want to do here. I hate passing Coalition Relic because Coalition Relic is really, really good. Terminate. We're going to get something sweet back out of this pack, though. It might even just be one of these two. It could be this if we're lucky. But Terminate, Arc Trail, Avalanche Riders would run all of those. Would even run a Sphinx of Dwar. I think it's a little underrated. I really do just kind of want to take Grizzlebrand here, though. We can't actually cast him currently. Still going to take him, though. There's a lot of ways we can make him work. Reanimation cards we can use. There's a lot of ways to get him in the graveyard. Plus, if we're controlling enough, I mean, you just get to 8 mana. That does happen too. Although I don't think we would do this if that were the case. Wildfire's pretty intense card, though. Okay, we got a pretty stacked up pack here. There's a Thoughtseize and a Lava Claw Reaches, both of which I like a lot, but I see that there's a Necromancy here. I'm just going to take it. If we get this guy in the yard, then we can just go off with Necromancy. So Necromancy is just a good card anyway. It's just very solid. All right, what have we? Ah, man, so many good cards. I mean, these are great problems to have, don't get me wrong, but man, there's a lot. So there's an Electrolyze, a Chalice, there's a Falconwrath Aristocrat. This guy is fine, but I think you can do better for 6 mana in the cube. Tendrils is even fine in our deck, and same with Edge, but I think I'm going to go for Electrolyze here. Just one of my favorite cards, and also it's one of the few cards in the cube that can just be like a natural 3-for-1. It's usually a 2-for-1, but it can even be a 3-for-1 just straight up with no extra help, so that's pretty impressive. Brainstorm, I'm kind of avoiding the bounce lands here. There's a Grim Monolith, which is like probably just the best card in this pack anyway. I don't want to be dirtling with this too much. Although it does give us a chance to get Grizzlebrand in the yard, which is kind of interesting. And this is a good anti-aggro card because it trades up. There we go. Yeah, I'm just going to take Grim Monolith here. It can help power out Grizzlebrand and do some really great stuff for us along those lines. Devil's Play seems quite good, but I really like Forbid. If you get enough card draw, like Grizzlebrand type stuff going, Forbid can just be like a soft lock on the rest of the game. I mean, sure, there's ways they can get out, but it gets pretty rough. I'm going to take Forbid. Okay, more good options. There's a Banefire. That's really good. Makeshift Mannequin can be amazing. Again, same thing with Grizzlebrand. You can just get him back. If they try to kill him, you just draw a bunch of cards before he dies. And then Fire Ice can be really, really good too. I'm going to go for Mannequin here, though. I think we're going to have enough stuff that we can do that. Ooh, there's a Wheel of Fortune. And then Chaos Warp has actually been kind of fun, too. It's a little better than it looked, too. I kind of thought it was just for goofy red shenanigans, but it's actually pretty impressive. And when you just need to get rid of something, you're playing the numbers pretty well in your favor there. I don't think we need Fallout. Wheel of Fortune's kind of interesting, though. We don't have too much card advantage, either. You know, we don't have any just, like, raw stuff except for, like, this. Yeah, let's try it. Ooh, lots of stuff. There's a Sneak Attack, which would be sweet for this, really not good for this. Fine. I mean, all our stuff is going to enter the battlefield and do something, but I still don't think we're quite on full Sneak Attack level. We could take a Niv Mizzet. I was asking for something along the lines of this, you know, at the top end, and I guess we'll just take it. All right, so what did we get back? Well, I'm going to take the Terminate out of this pack. Maybe the Arc Trail, actually. It depends on what I'm most worried about at this point. I actually have Electrolyze. Yeah, I'm going to take Terminate because basically I think of it in 2 stages. I want to be able to kill early threats in case I face an aggressive deck. That would be the Arc Trail in this case. But I've already got Electrolyze, Izzet Charm, Stagger Shock, stuff like that to take care of those. And then the other stage that I like to think about in these terms is being able to kill like this, right? Like if they go reanimate my guy, or or just ramp out some huge fatty, I want to be able to like kill it, and that's where Terminate comes in handy. Probably just gonna take the Reaches here. Ooh, maybe that was interesting. I thought maybe I should take the Skin Render actually. I think it's a close pick. I don't think it's like a big mistake either way, but I do have a lot of enter the battlefield effects. So that I can Skin Render, have it die, and then get it back and redo it, and that's pretty devastating if you're playing against a creature-based deck. Take an Aristocrat here. All right, well, we got this guy back, so yeah, we'll take him. Sweet. That's awesome. Faithless Looting. I don't think we can run it. Wow, that boiler works too. Why not? All right, we got slime buckets in the clan, so that worked out. All right, so we've got a deck. I'm not really sure. I wasn't super aggressive about cutting this thing down to what it's actually going to look like, so we're going to have to see. This counts as a spell. Like, it takes up a land drop, but it doesn't affect your land thing because it doesn't make any mana, so there's another way to get dudes in the yard, so that's good. Forbid, Drifter. All right, what does this do? Reveal the top card. You may put that card into your hand unless it's the same name as another card. Repeat this process until you put a card in your hand or exile 2 cards. Okay. Not sure quite how many of these I'm going to be running, but this is probably not going to work. Necromancy, yes. Gladiator, I kind of want to try him now. I mean, he cycles for 1 and a black, so worst case, it's not a big deal. But then if we draw a fatty like a Niv Mizzet or a Grizzlebrand later and we have a reanimation spell, we can just pitch it and get this guy back. So I think I'm going to try that out. Damnation's good. Yes, 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 yes. All right, so we're already moving. We've already got quite a few cards here. I better start moving over into here because I know that we're going to want a bunch of these. I'm going to leave Blightning in the board, I believe. Yeah, so we get one of these cards. Well, there's actually not a whole lot that we really want here anyway. I mean, Koth is fine, but I think I'd prefer to keep this deck blue-black splash red. I mean, we've already got a Niv Mizzet here. We've got plenty of red mana sources, so it won't be an issue, but it makes our mana like a million times better. And remember, Koth really does care about mountains. You know, you got to have a bunch of mountains to make him work. You got to have at least one just to make him go, but yeah. Dragon Lord, no, again, because of the red thing. Wheel of Fortune is one we could definitely run here. That sounds actually really fun. Especially because, you know, we can get to the point where we've got a couple of stupid fatties left in our hand that we can't cast anyway. Pitch them with Wheel. And then hopefully draw into a reanimation spell. This looks pretty good, I guess. I guess we'll bench Wheel of Fortune for now. I could cut Gatekeeper, but I think we're going to actually be able to play that card because if we go by color here, I mean, we're very heavy black, blue, and then these all have red mana symbols in them, but this one has black and these ones have blue. So red mana symbols, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 6 in the whole deck. Black, it's 1, 2, essentially 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 18, 19. So yeah, we're like very heavy black here. I think we're going to be able to kick a Gatekeeper at a reasonable clip here. Okay, so what do we want? We want this for sure. Not that. Yeah. Yep, I'm going to play that Lava Claw Reaches. I think that card's really good. This I might play. Steam Vents in an Island. Yeah, let's play this. Is it Boiler Works? I think that, you know, like I said, I don't like playing multiples, and I don't really like those cards that much, but playing one seems totally within reason to me. Now, how many of these lands make black mana? That's the question here. Well, this sort of does, but how many actually make black mana? This does, and this does. So we're going to be very heavy on the swamps here. Much heavier than this thing is going to lead us to believe. And I think that we can 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5, 6. Yeah, we've got that's enough red sources for the whole deck, so we don't need any basics in that way. And I think this is what our deck's going to look like. Let's take a look at how many black sources this gives us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. That's what I wanted, 10. So that's good. We're 18 lands because of Maze of Ith. But yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, we've got 10 blue sources, and then I think 6 red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so our mana is actually just really good. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get some value train going.